Hello there, Divining Beauties. I'm Mary Campbell. This is my small and growing, here I am again. Anyway, I'm welcoming you to my weekly talk. It's Wednesday evening. I'm here, welcoming a few of you. I'm here to talk about this thing that we do, this way we can't stand and hate and push away these characteristics of I call it the hypermasculine, the way we see in government. We see certain people that we disdain, that we hate, we push away. We don't like their behavior, their arrogance, their bullying, their judgmental, their put downs, that energy that doesn't care about connection, but cares about winning at all cost. We hate that. And we've never had such a perfect person to help us understand this behavior as we do now. It seems for most of us we identify with that. And it's easy to hate. It's really easy to hate because it's so blatant. It's so out there. It's so obvious. And it's easy to push it away, to hate it and do that disidentifying, pushing it away. But I think unless we look deeply at this hidden place in ourselves that does this in so much more subtle ways, we really can't let go. I'm so happy to see you all here. Great to see you. But unless we can see that in ourselves, we just continue to perpetuate the same kind of behavior, the push away, this unconsciousness of what happens when we are in that state of hyper-masculine energy. So I want to dive into that a little bit today. I've been watching what I notice in myself that hides underneath this behavior. So my kids they have often said that I'm passive aggressive, that if I want something, I don't just say I want it. I'm not direct. I find these nice ways. Wouldn't you like to do such and such? Or, I'm going to go to the store. How about we come along and you do that? I find so many subtle ways to convince them that what I want is what they should do. So I call this passive, not passive aggressive, but they feel it as aggression. They feel it as manipulation. They feel it as me not being straight. They feel it as me hiding. And it's sort of a way that women have traditionally gotten what they needed in the world. I think that we haven't had another option. For most of us, we haven't had the option to just speak what we need and what we want. We'd be pushed down, hurt, demeaned, probably really face bad consequences. So women have found historically these kind of subtle ways to get what they need and want. I find it more now, I see it more because I see it so obviously in our high offices. But I need to look at that place in me. I need to look at the place that doesn't want to feel what I'm feeling. I don't know what he feels. But I know that at some point, probably as a very young child, he didn't get a chance to feel, and it wasn't safe to feel what he felt. And so he found other ways to manage himself, other ways to get ahead, other ways to feel his strength. So many times that kind of pushing an obvious strength hides weakness beneath, but weakness that as children we haven't been allowed to feel. So I'm looking at this behavior of the hypermasculine right now. I'm just back from a retreat at Kripalu this past weekend with my teacher, Miranda McPherson. She wrote a book recently called The Way of Grace, and she talks about this ego relaxation, because it's really the ego, our egos that are out there trying to get what we need. We built those egos when we were 5, 4, 3, 6, young children. We built a strategy, a way of working in our world so that we could get what we needed. And children are brilliant. We find the best way given our circumstances, to keep ourselves safe and to get what we need. Children are, it's remarkable how well we do that. What we find is that as we become adults, we have enough capacity, if we're conscious, to notice that those old strategies actually are not so helpful. They create certain opportunities, but limit others. So I would say my strategy early on, I was the firstborn of 5 in 6.5 years. So I learned right away to be the helper. Mama's little helper, she used to call me. I was the one who would do just what she needed and wanted. I'd sneak things behind her back. I'd lie so she wouldn't know. But out and always the one who could make things happen in the world. So I'm just by being a helpful person, by being thoughtful, by being kind. But what I realized, and it worked. It was a strategy that worked for a long time. I got ahead, people liked me. It worked well when I was moving every year from school to school until I was 10. I was able to manage in life because I looked pleasing and I didn't bother anybody. But eventually I realized that I couldn't live fully like that. I did that through 2 marriages. I did that in different situations, but I really couldn't live honestly in my life. So that was a manipulation. I was manipulating my beautiful, loving self to get what I needed, to get safety, to get attention, to get approval. So I'd love to challenge each of us to look at that place that's most vulnerable, to look at that place. Most of us have a story that says, I'm nothing, I'm not lovable, it's a deep, deep story that lives way inside. And it's what we had to deal with that created all of the other compensations that we did in our lives. So I invite you to sink down for a moment and listen carefully to that place. This is the work I do with private clients lately. So many times our issues and problems demonstrate themselves on the outside as issues in our relationship, as problems with body image, as difficulties with libido, as issues with our sexuality, as issues just in relating to other people and ourselves. I think sometimes we feel distant from ourselves. But I found that the most important work we can do is really looking for that place that we don't want to feel, the thing that was too hard to feel as children. So we pushed it away and we found ways. I didn't want to feel that I couldn't get my mom's love and attention because there were so many other kids and she was pretty controlling. So I didn't want to feel what that must have felt like. So if I could just please her all the time, I kept myself safe. So take a look deeply at what you do and what your strategy has been to keep yourself safe, to get what you needed. Because when we can see that not as a fault, not as something we need to change or shift or move or create as something different, but we can look at that simply as a beautiful compensation our very smart child self did that doesn't necessarily bring us what we need now. So this is the idea of ego relaxation. The ego, I think of the ego as a 5-year-old doing the very best they can to get what they need in the world, but they're really limited. They only have a certain bandwidth of experience. They really don't have an adult's capacity. But unless we're conscious, unless we're really willing to look at those places that catch us up, that cause us to feel inadequate, the places that we don't want to feel, unless we're able to look at those places, the deeper issue can't be healed. It stays there. We find ways to avoid it. We find ways to grasp for something else to make us feel better, or to shut something else out, or to go numb. We find ways. They just limit the range of our joy and happiness. So recently I was asked, so what is it that really you would say is your raison d'etre? What is it that really captivates you, that really is your work in the world? And what I noticed coming out of my mouth is, I believe that we were born on the most exquisite planet. We don't even know a planet in the entire universe like this. We were born at such a beautiful place, given oxygen that's perfect for our lungs, given food to feed our bodies perfectly, given solid ground beneath us, given water and sunlight. We're given so much. We're here to live a life that's full of joy. And whatever stands in the way of that, we're invited to let go of, to release. So that was the quote I put on our group this week when I was at Kripalu. It was from W.E.B. Du Bois, and talked about whatever it is that, are you willing to let go of what's here, what's been who you were, to claim what's next, to claim what you really want. That's what I want for all of us. I see this as our real possibility. It's the way to live in pleasure and joy when we don't have to hide from the things that are living underneath, that are sort of eking away at us. It's really a feminine practice. We're not out there to kill our ego. We're not out there to rid ourselves of these bad behaviors, clean up our act, diet much better, eat the right foods. We're not into that harsh, pushing kind of life. I believe this feminine way of ego relaxation is really loving that part of ourselves that did the best it could, and then relaxing the grip and finding that we are actually held in a magnificent, beautiful planet full of support, and that we have unlimited support. It's as if every part of the universe is here to love us. I know this so clearly as I've let go of so many things that really stood in the way of that. Once these other pieces have let go, really what's there is the light and the love and the beauty that we're meant to live. I so know this. So along those lines, next week on Tuesday evening, I am joining with Kristen Pears, who's a woman who works in Columbus, Ohio. I've been invited to do sort of a speaking tour in Ohio in April. And so in prep for that, we're doing a Zoom call next Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock, the same time. And it'll be for women only. And then 2 weeks later, it'll be for men and women. And it's called Pleasure 101, because it's really about looking at what pleasure is in the first place. I think it's just living fully in our lives, taking in every possible experience, not blocking anything out, but learning to source the happiness and joy from what's here, and learning to let go of the things inside that block that. So we'll be talking about pleasure just from our senses, pleasure in our sexuality, pleasure in our relationships. We'll be talking about why it is that women are so limited in their pleasures, the difference between the way the masculine accesses pleasure and the feminine. There'll be several options. Really, we'll be just diving into that, and then we'll do a Q&A. So I'm super excited to do this. I did a webinar in January, and I'm stepping out a little bit more in the world in this way, with tours of Ohio, tours of Canada coming up this summer. So I'm looking for how to bring what I think is a freeing experience of the feminine, how to live in this joy and delight. We get these gorgeous bodies. I am loving, well, I have to admit, I've gained a bit of weight lately, so I have more of a belly, but I have these really great breasts, and I'm loving them so much right now. So I want to help all of us learn to love our bodies more, to love our life more, to love the people in our lives more, and to let go of the stories that take us into sadness and disappointment, unhappiness, that take us into that negative spin that doesn't serve anybody. So I will be putting a link here on this group page, so you can link in and sign up for that Zoom call. It's completely free. We're going to just do 2 of these in prep for my appearance in Columbus. If you have friends in Columbus or in the Ohio area, I'll also be in Yellow Springs. So excited for what's to come, and super happy to have this spot to be here and talk. if you have questions, if you've been listening and you just want to type something in there, I'll put on my glasses so I can see and see if I can answer them. I really haven't invited that, so you may not be ready for that. But I'd like to start having these calls be more interactive. And it looks like Wednesday evening is better than Wednesday midday. So would you let me know? Would you, if you're able to come on Wednesday evenings more than in the daytime, would you maybe make a note on the posts in this group so I can know? I am sending you so much love. Spring is so close. It's right around the corner. It will feel so good. Although we've had such an easy winter, just the pleasure of not having to bundle up so much has been a great joy. I send you so much love, joy, happiness, delight. Enjoy your body. Enjoy what it is to live in this beautiful world, breathing the air, seeing the plant life, even as it's dead now, even just the evergreen trees, finding beauty in the sky, finding beauty in the orange in your bowl on the counter. Find beauty wherever you can and let it in. Really let it in. Let yourself be blossomed. Let yourself receive. That is the feminine. It's not about doing and pushing so much. It's really inviting yourself. So happy to be there. Oh, it looks like there's a question. Let me see. Irene, I love you so much. Top way to start a freeing experience of the feminine. Yeah, I would say this. Learn to receive. Give yourself a break from putting out, from trying hard, from pushing, and just be receptive. Allow yourself to be receptive to whatever it is that comes into view in this moment, whatever you find. Let yourself receive the pleasure that's there. That's the very first step, and I think the most vital step to rediscovering your feminine self. Also, if you'd like to, here below, put several comments about what you'd like me to speak about. I'm here, I'm a little redundant about the feminine and the masculine. It just makes sense to me. It's where I'm geeking out these days. But please, list whatever you'd like. I'm happy to riff. Okay, so much love. Love you all. Take care. And let people know that we're here. Pass the word along. I'd love to have them join too. Best to you. Bye-bye.